deploy a Laravel 10 application to AWS services using Laravel Forge. So people who don't know what is Laravel Forge, you can do a quick Google search on what is Laravel Forge. So then it gives like this: Laravel Forge is a server management and application deployment service. Forge takes the pain and hassle out of deploying servers and can be used to launch your next website. So which is a kind of a tool, helps us to get rid of DevOps operations, and the developers can directly deploy their web application to a server like AWS through Laravel Forge, because Laravel Forge takes care of it. So yeah, simply it's like that. Okay, so I just created my Laravel Forge trial account. So just after creating my trial account, you will be on this kind of a connect page, which it shows source control services, which we can connect like GitHub, GitLab, whatever. Then after that, it provides a couple of server providers. By default, it's DigitalOcean, Akami, AWS, Vault, likewise. So I'm going to use AWS in my case. First of all, I have pushed a sample Laravel 10 application to my GitHub repository like this. So then I can connect this one to Laravel Forge. So let's start with that. So I will choose connect to GitHub option. Let's see what it asks. Yeah, so it asks authorization to my GitHub repo. So I'm giving authorized Laravel likewise. So then it asks for my 2FA authentication code. So let me key in that as well. Yeah, so it's okay, all good so far. So it's, yeah, it's showing connected to GitHub. So after that, I need to connect my AWS. So for that, there is this link provides by Laravel Forge. So it directly goes to my IAM console in AWS, since I have already logged into my AWS account. So in the meantime, I would like to pull up this one. So this one, Amazon Web Services API access documentation provided by Forge. So it says there are few requirements you should review to ensure Forge works correctly with your linked AWS account. So I should give AWS IAM users programmatic API access. Then AWS IAM users needs to belong to a group with the Amazon EC2 full access, because I think Forge is going to deploy the application to AWS EC2 instance and AWS VPC, virtual private cloud, full access, managed policies. If you are using an existing VPC, the subnet must be configured to auto-assign public IP addresses. Yeah, likewise. So you can find this documentation in Forge documentations. Yeah, so I'm going to configure IAM user as per the given instructions. Create an AWS IAM account for the Laravel Forge. So you can simply click on this given link. So it will be redirected to AWS IAM section, user section. Okay, so I will go inside users. Yeah, so I can see all the currently available users in my AWS IAM section. So I'm going to add a new user. So I'm going to give some meaningful name. IAM Forge deployment. Okay, so I'm not going to tick this one. Just simply click on next. So as per the Forge documentation, I should give Amazon EC2 full access for IAM user. So it's already attached, and I'm going to give Amazon VPC full access as well. So I'm going to search for this. policy by choosing attach policies directly. Okay, so Amazon VPC full access, I'm ticking that, and I'm going to search for again this one as well, because I have chosen this option now, so I need to click this one as well. Okay, so next, then I can see it has been attached to these policies, and I'm now simply create the user. So it will take a while, just created the user. So I'm now jump into the user because I need to create a AWS key and secret pair for this user. So I'm on the user's profile page, and I'm going inside security credentials tab, and I'm going to create access key, this option. So I'm going to choose third-party service among this one, because Laravel Forge is third-party service out of AWS, and I'm ticking this one. Proceed. Next. Describe the purpose this key. So I'm just give a again meaningful name for this one. I am Forge deployment key. Create access key. Okay, it's done. So I'm going to copy this access key and paste it over here, and copy this one and paste it over here. Then let's try connect option and see whether it's successful. There are no active servers associated with your account. Okay, all good. Start a free trial. I'm clicking this one. Okay, so it goes to billing details page. So I'm going to choose whether monthly or yearly. So I will stick to the monthly option. And hobby, if I choose the hobby plan, it gives 5-day trial. Growth plan, 5-day trial. Business, every plan it seems, yes, 5-day trial. So I will stick to this very basic plan, hobby plan, and it gives single server, unlimited sites, unlimited deployments, push to deploy. So this is more than enough for in this case. Subscribe. So it will just ask for the payment details here. So I'm just giving my payment details. So obviously this section will be blurred for you guys. Okay, so pressing start free trial. Okay, everything looks good. Your subscription has been started successfully. So you are currently within your free trial period. Your trial will expire on August 4, 2023. Okay, all good. So now let's back to the server section. I think, okay, return to Forge link. Okay, so let's create a new server through the Laravel Forge. So I'm clicking on create a new server, and I'm selecting server platform, which is AWS in my case. So we can give a server name, which is the one it is creating under EC2 instances, this one, the name. So we can give whatever name, but it seems Laravel Forge is giving an option to auto-generate a name, like refreshing through this option. Okay, so I'm stick to this name, whatever name you can give, and I'm select the type as app server, because I need to host both my web server along with the MySQL server, everything. So it's In this case, it's app server and Virginia as the region. That's fine. And server size, in this case, I will be choosing T3 micro, which is under AWS free tier. So that's fine. It's more than enough in this case. So the private network, so it gives a VPC network of my current AWS account, and subnet, this one, that's fine. Auto selected options will be fine. And the most important thing is PHP version. In this case, I'm choosing 8.2, which is the latest stable version, because a Laravel 10 project which I have set up in my GitHub account is Laravel 10 project. So for Laravel 10, minimum required PHP version is 8.1. So I will select the latest version. Either you can select 8.1 also, that's fine. So the Ubuntu server OS, that's fine. LTS version. MySQL database, MySQL 8, that's fine. Database name is Forge. Add servers SSH key to source control providers. Yes, that's fine. So let's hit create sub option. Okay, so it's creating. So it gives server credentials to us. We can copy these details for later reference. Encounter an issue. Although server is created under EC2 instances. So I'm refreshing my EC2 instances list. So you can see the server, this is clean snowflake, which is this server name we gave, is running, and status check is initializing. So let's see, normally it performs a 2 out of 2 status checks in AWS, so it should be become successful that as well. So after that, it should be continuing with these steps, preparing server, configuring sub, all those things. So simply what it does, when we manually setting up an EC2 instance, we install PHP, Linux, Nginx web server, or either Apache, and database server, MySQL, MariaDB, whatever. So these stuff we need to manually install. But through Laravel Forge, we can initiate all those tasks and install them. So from this point, once it's started, it will be continuing up to all these steps. So it is easier. We don't need to manually configure those things. But normally what I have experienced, these steps get a longer time than it says, because it's due to some AWS security group issue. Normally it's attaching to this instance, because the default security group is not sufficient for giving the relevant permissions to connect to the instance from Laravel Forge. So in that case, let's wait and see for some time. I need to refresh this page and see what is the status check. So it is still initializing. So obviously, since this status is still initializing, this side, Forge side, won't be getting ready. But what I have experienced after this one is completed also, it's not going forward from this point. So in that case, we need to create a new security group in AWS and add these configurations, and after that we need to attach that security group to the EC2 instance, because by default EC2 instance, when creating through this Forge, it's attaching default security group, which is not having enough permissions. So let's see. I will do another refresh and let's see what's the status. It's still initializing, so I will be back in a while once the status is done. Okay, now it has been completed the status check. So it has passed 2 out of 2 checks passed from AWS side for this instance, but still it is at the waiting on your server to become ready, this provisioning status, which is not correct, shouldn't be correct, because from AWS side it has completed the spinning up the server, so it should be proceeding from this side as well. So it should be jump into this step, preparing your server. So I think that's because of the security group issue. So as you can see, if I switch to security tab, it shows this is the default security group. So it's not sufficient. So I'm going to create a new security group. So you scroll down network and security and click on security groups, and I'm going to create security group option here. I'm giving security group name. I'm giving Laravel Forge SG security group. So most important thing section is here. So inbound rules, I need to add these inbound configurations to this new security group. So let's start with HTTP type protocols TCP with this one. So I'm going to add a rule here. So it will be type HTTP source custom and port range 80. Okay, that's fine. 80 source custom, and I'm copying this one. Okay, sorry, this one. So when it pasting, sometimes it gives some formatted space something, so you can simply clicking on this and select it. And I'm going to add another rule which is for the second one, HTTP TCP HTTP. Okay, oops. Okay, 80 custom, all good. This one. Okay, so I'm going to add another rule for third one, type SSH. So this is to SSH from my IP address to this is EC2 instance. So it says your IP address. So TCP port 22. Yeah, it's automatically populated with the details. Okay, so to here we need to add our IP address. So if you are on Mac or Linux, you can simply find your IP address through this command, dig command. So I'm copying my IP address and I'm pasting it over here with this 32. Okay, so the next one, again SSH. This is to SSH from Forge. This is to SSH from my IP. This is to SSH from my Forge. Okay, so let me continue with this all the steps, and once it's done I will come back. So I have added all the security group configurations to my new security group. So I'm going to hit create security group button. Okay, so it's asked the description. So I'm adding allow Laravel Forge to connect with EC2. Okay, creating security group, it's done. So I'm going to instances again back. So it's still stuck at this page. So my assumption is once I attached the newly created security group with this Laravel Forge new security group configurations, it should be proceeded to the next step and it should be all good. Yeah, let's see. So on that here, actions, security, change security groups. So from here, first you can click on this filter option. So you can see Laravel Forge SG, which is the newly created security group. Still it is stuck here. So add security group. I'm removing the default one and I'm saving this. So this newly created security group just attached to the new instance. So let me wait for a couple of seconds or minutes. So it should be proceeded from here. The changes will be reflected to Laravel Forge side from AWS side. It should be okay now. Fingers crossed. It's running instances. Okay, yes. Yes, all good. So it's proceeded to these steps. Okay, so it will get another couple of minutes to complete all these steps. So once it's done, I will be back. Yeah, it jumped to next final stage as well, finishing up. So it will be completed sooner. Yes, it's done. So we can check and verify whether our site is working. So this is our site. It's default, which is the name. Okay, so first we check public IP is the allocated public IP. If you check this IP against the EC2 instance public IP version 4 address, it is the same, exactly same one, 54.224, 54. Yep. So I just check whether it's working on our Nginx web server. Yes, it's loaded nicely. So after this stage, we need to load our Laravel site, which is from our GitHub repository. This is the Forge default page, but our intention is to load our web app under this IP address, which is this one. So it's showing a default demo Laravel project. So for that, we need to connect our GitHub repository. So we'll click on GitHub repository option with the WordPress PHP admin from these options. So I'm copying my GitHub repository URL and paste it over here. So then my repository has a master branch, not the main branch. So I selected master branch, install composer dependencies, because just after deploying the application to web server, it will run composer install command as well to install vendor packages. So I'm just simply click on install repository. Now it should be working. So after this stage, when I load the website on this IP address, it should be loading a Laravel demo website, rather loading that Forge default page. Okay, so after this one, please make sure to enable this option as well. So it helps run a CI/CD pipeline to auto deploy our changes. So which happens? So it should connect a GitHub webhook to trigger the changes just after we pushing our changes to GitHub repository, and deploy the changes to AWS EC2 instance through Laravel Forge at the same time. So I'm enable quick deploy as well. All good. So let's see now, copying this IP and again whether we can see a Laravel. Yep. So we can see now our Laravel demo site rather showing a Forge site. So the one last step, I will push a very small change to this repository, and that should be reflected over here. Before that, let me scroll down, and no, this one, deployments, because I didn't trigger any deployments just after the initial one. So I think initial one is not showing here. It's just pushing the changes initially. So let's see. Okay, let me explore a little bit. So back to servers. So I'm on the server homepage. So never deployed. This is the status now it's showing. So let me push very small change to this GitHub repo, and it should be reflected over here just after pushing the change. So I'm going to change this title, HTML title. So it's showing Laravel 10 demo. I'm going to edit it to Laravel on Forge, something like that. Okay, so let's see, showing the change like this. So I'm adding the file, just have this only one file, so I'm adding it all, git add all, git add, git commit message, welcome played updated. Okay, So now the magic happens. I'm doing a git push. Okay, it pushed to my repo. So if I refresh here, it should be showing this now. This one now. Yes, Laravel on Forge is available on GitHub. So at the same time, this deployed. It has been triggered last deploy 22 seconds ago. It's counting. So if I refresh this, it should be showing the change over here. Yep. So it's showing Laravel on Forge. So which means our CI/CD pipeline has been triggered and successfully deployed the changes to Laravel Forge. Okay, guys, then happy coding. Thanks for watching. Bye.